time for your favorite podcast, The Musicians Talk Show. Here's your hosts, Dallas Dwight and Matt Tolley.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Musicians Talk Show podcast. It's episode number 87. My name is Dallas Dwight.
And I'm Matt Tolley.
And we are sitting here in the brand new studio space.
Oh, yeah. It is.
How you feel, Matt?
It's great.
You know, the first thing I notice when I'm sitting here, the ceilings are much higher.
Yeah. The first thing I notice is no couches. We're sitting on chairs again.
Yeah, we're back on chairs.
Not
Do you
a big deal.
notice the higher ceilings? They're like a good bit higher.
Yeah, I'm really short, so it really doesn't matter to me
You
that
think
much.
these are 12?
But I do like knowing there's room up
Those
there
are-
if I wanted to jump twice my height.
How high do you think they are?
I don't know. Why is it
15 feet?
Dude, I'm terrible at this.
I'm also not very good at it, but I'm thinking like a basketball goal is 10 feet, the rim. And I'm like that's a good bit higher than that.
10 foot. I bet it's 12-foot ceilings.
You think so?
I think 12-foot ceilings is like the
Okay,
high.
to give you an idea, those hands are mounted 10 inches down. So that's like the bottom of the hand's like 1
basically
foot,
1 foot, right. All right, so we're going to go with 12-foot ceilings.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
That's what I'm going to guess. I'm going to guesstimate.
Yeah. That's probably a good guess.
It's a nice big ceiling. Anyways, the fan is a huge plus.
Yep.
That's nice. The speakers are back on the walls like they belong.
I'm basically done setting it up. But anyway, at any rate, yeah, I'm in the new place,
The new place.
apartment, and I have a nice big studio space here that I'm feeling good about so far. It's still kind of a mess. There's a lot
Dude,
of boxes and
balcony
stuff everywhere.
access
Yeah,
from
we
the
have
from the
balcony.
studio. You're kidding me? It's awesome. And you can see over the pool from the balcony.
Yeah, we actually have a good view. Every apartment I've lived in with a balcony, I've had a terrible view. When I'm staring at like a tree.
Paid your dues, Dallas. You finally get to move up.
I've
You
made
get
it.
poolside view. But that should be inspiring to be able to look out a window, you know. See
Yeah,
a nice
and
little
like
view.
if you like you just said, if you look out that big window or the bedroom window, you also get the same view.
Who was saying that that it's so important, the view that you choose for your life? Obviously, you have a long life to live, and the time you spend in beautiful places apparently affects your happiness and well-being and stuff like that.
I can see that.
And inspires you. I can totally see it. I mean, just know, like when you go on a trip and you see something, you know, a beautiful, you get a hotel with a beautiful view or whatever, and how good you feel altogether. So I think that could help out a lot
you
with
feel
music.
like a straight baller, dude.
That's what I need to feel like all the time. That's why I get a limousine from the airport. It's a short ride, like 1 mile, but it's worth it.
Oh well, that's why.
Just kidding.
That's why
I
I
do
take
not do
limousine
that.
everywhere.
No, you know,
I Uber Black.
yeah, you must be like a governor
Like a
or something
Panera
like
Bread.
that. You know, governors get that kind of treatment
Yep.
usually, but not just governors anymore. It's Dallas too.
Yep, governors in Dallas.
That's right. And when this podcast hits 100 episodes, that's what we're gonna switch to, limos exclusively.
Yep. Hey, does Uber do limos? I feel like that would be like the next step for them.
They do Uber Black. That's all I know about.
Yeah, but
which
that's
is
just like a town car.
professionals. Yeah, it's like professionalism. They don't need a limo unless you want to
you
be
need a
bomb proof.
limo.
The thing about limos is they're bomb proof. So if you're a bad politician for some reason, people don't like you, or some kind of negative celebrity. I don't know. As a negative
That's a
celebrity.
good band name.
Yeah. Or a hated celebrity, whatever, then you'd want a limousine. So yeah.
The yawns are coming strong.
Limos are not going to be in our future anytime soon. I think that's a huge waste of money, but it is funny to think about
Yeah,
that people waste their money that way.
100%. So let's talk about the concept album. We're back here.
Yeah.
Well, not back here. We're here for the
We're in
first
a new
time.
studio, which is nice.
I'm basically set up to the point where I can get work done now.
Yeah. If I wasn't sick, I'd lay some shit for you down right now, but I literally
Oh, hell.
am getting over like a week of hell. I was so sick last week.
Okay, so it's
Should we go into weekend review then? Here's my week.
not quite yet. Well, there you go. Yeah, that was your week. That was a good weekend review. That was a quick one.
It's a quick one. I like to use what's it called? Onomatopoeias.
Oh, there you go.
There's a
It's
little proof.
October 27th, dude. That means
Halloween
in like
drive
4 or
around the
5
corner.
days, we're in November, the final 2 months of the year
Yep.
to finish this concept album. And the final 2 months of the year notoriously are the busiest with holidays and closings and traveling and all this kind of stuff. So
Right.
it's not going to be any easier.
What I think I can do potentially to help this go faster is I might be able to track my own vocals and sometimes and
Ooh, that'd be
and just be able to at least demo stuff out and we can pitch back and forth ideas that way. And we come back together. If we want to re-record them though, we can.
Okay, like once
obviously.
we feel like we have.
Right,
Okay.
once we feel like, but I might be able to just
You
do
should start
rough
on that
stuff.
ASAP then.
I know. I'm just thinking, well, now that my voice is actually It's not back. I wouldn't say it's back, but it's close. I'm
You
clearing
can do
up.
that in like Audacity. Like you just need to drop
yeah.
the MP3
Well, I have
and then sing whatever.
Yeah, I have
Logic, right?
I have Logic and I have the Pro Tools. What's it called? The free one. Yeah, and it lets you do enough. I mean,
What is it called? Pro Tools First.
first. That's it. Yeah,
It's great. It's got all the functionality with
Yeah,
just some like track limitations and some other
exactly. And if I'm
limitations.
just rough, I'm doing track. I won't even worry about like I won't have the computer power right now with the computer I'm using to really run like
But to run
the presets and stuff. But
yeah, but just to drop an MP3 and record a vocal track like that doesn't take any CPU.
no, and I'll use
you
my
could do that on a laptop from the 80s.
yeah, and I'll use my Telefunken microphone, so that's a nice sounding microphone. It's nothing junk. But you know, if we want to
What do they call
re-record,
that thing that goes around it? The little. like,
oh yeah, I
ISO
got
loop
that thing.
almost?
The
You should
what is
bring
that
that
called?
whenever we do
Vocal-
vocals for real.
yeah, it's a good little tool. It's basically
I
a
need to get
vocal
one, is
booth
what I'm trying to
ring. What is that thing called, man? I can't.
It's like
remember.
a little. It looks like a half circle that sits behind your microphone, so it basically
It's a
creates
trap.
a vocal booth.
Right, and it keeps your
Like out of
vocals from
nowhere.
bouncing back into the back side of the microphone, like coming back at you. So it's like you're
It makes
yelling
it sound,
into a
it's like
dry.
It's like a mobile booth. It sounds good.
Yeah, it's
We
a
use
great
it for the
tool.
24-hour EP.
Yeah, it's a great little
So-
tool. SE makes it. That's the brand, but I can't remember what that thing's called.
SE.
Yeah, SE, and they're vocal accessories, I guess, or something. Yeah, what's it called?
Oh, it's $250.
Yeah, I got it for extreme deal. I didn't even pay that much more, so that's good. That's a different one,
They
anyways.
call it an isolation filter, I guess.
Yeah,
This is the pack that comes with like a mic and stuff.
exactly. Right,
don't
so that's a
want
little
that.
more, anyways. Right, okay. Yeah, I think I paid $100 for mine. I was on sale, and I was like, "That's what I need just to scratch vocals." At the time, you know, what we were doing Black Magic, and
Looks
I
like
did my
they call
vocals
it a reflection filter, and they're spelling reflection like flex
with an X. Yeah, that's their brand, I guess, their style. So.
But I mean, other people make these, right? Or is this like
Yeah,
the
no,
one?
no, everybody, like there's several people that
Oh,
make them.
that's
but-
the exact one you have, right?
No, mine's different, a little different, but it's very similar in the way it's built, like the panels inside it and
But
stuff.
yours has a silver
It's
back.
a silver back, less than those. It doesn't have all that perforation.
Oh, okay.
So whatever, it's just not exactly the same, but they're all very similar. So yeah, but those work great. So I'll set that up in my living room and yell out some ideas for the concept album, and then we'll go from there. I feel like we just need a starting point, you know. And now that we've really got a laid out plan for the story of it all, and then we got a lot of the music, so I think I'm gonna be able to hash out a lot of work in a short time. So
I think half the music.
yeah. So
We have
half
tracks 2 through 6.
at least half, and we have some
we have to
started
do
other stuff.
7, 8, 9, 10. That's 4, and then we have to do track 1. So that's yeah, we're halfway there instrumentally.
Right.
So
That's good. Yeah. I mean, 2 months
That's a lot of
sounds like a short amount of time, but I think it's going to come together quickly because we've got the
What-
prep work done. It's not like we're starting
what happens if we don't make it? What do we do then?
now. People are going to have to wait till January of 2020, I guess.
If we miss the date though, we have
We'll
to set
release a
another
single.
date because
Well, how about we release what we can release? Like if we
Okay,
want
that's a
to
good idea.
release a
We could do like-
single
like
at the end of the
EP, like part
year,
one.
and then be like we're like a month away from the rest of the album being done. But I really don't want to plan on that because I really do want to get it done by the end of the year.
yeah,
I think it's
bust ass.
possible.
Let's
Yeah.
really bust
Yeah.
ass. I think we can do it.
Yep.
This is what we get for procrastinating.
I have a little bit on my plate for the next month because of B Sharp. We're doing that show.
it.
Yeah, you want to go up into that? All right. So that show is at Amos's, and I have agreed to help. I've talked about it on the show before. Agreed to help these guys out and play a show with them. They got a big charity show they're doing at Amos's, which I'm super glad to be a part of. But it's been some work, and I'm learning a lot as we go. How to learn songs quickly and how to organize and stuff like that. So I'm making like little cheat sheets now, and I've started just prepping. So that way, really, it's going to come down to like a crunch time type vibe. Like I'm gonna really study hard in the crunch time hours of it.
Right.
We've done a lot of deliberating on the set list and stuff like that, and just working out arrangements and stuff, which is great. But now I need to put in the work of like memorizing all these songs, the memory part of it. Obviously, the ability to play it physically is not an issue. Like I really have surprised myself actually when I go to learn these songs. Like, oh, I can do it. I just need to put it to memory is the biggest thing for me. And when you pick 28 songs and you put them, in a giant list or whatever, it gets, especially some of them are very similar in their attack, like the same tuning, same capo, and then it'll just be a variation of chords, actually. Matchbox 20 songs, and there's another one. I can't really remember what that
Are you
is.
guys doing like 3 a.m.?
Yeah, we're doing 3 a.m., which
That's
is
a
a
good one.
first fret.
Doo-doo-doo.
Yeah. Cool song. I'm kind of figuring out too what guitars I'm going to play. Like, should I do this one acoustic? You know, there's 3 guitar players. We're sharing the parts. So I'm kind of deliberating all that, and I'm going to write that all in my notes too. So I know what guitar to play, what tuning I'm going to need to be in, and all these, songs. So I'm kind of just going through all that, and it's a lot. Like, for sure, doing the variety band. Like, I know you guys practiced for months. 3 months, was it? 2 months?
It was a while.
You guys did a long, extensive practice where you guys have the backing tracks set up, the tempos of all the songs worked out, MIDI controlling through the songs. So you're taking it, your guys' setup is like a lot more elaborate, I think, and as far as like components, and this is going to just be 5 guys and a girl backup singer mixing up all these parts, so it's going to be interesting. And we got a keyboard player. That's awesome
nice.
too. I met him last week. So
Is he new or something?
well, he just doesn't come to all the practices. There's like really a few songs that he's heavily featured in, and then the rest of it he's kind of going to fill in the backing and stuff. So it's he's going to start coming to practices more often, I think, now towards the crunch time.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, for our setup, it took me a while to figure out, because I knew what we wanted to do, but I had no idea how to do it.
Right.
So I just spent a lot of time Googling like how to do this, how to do that, how to make the backing tracks, how to run them live, how to change tempos.
Sure.
That was a whole deal.
Yeah, you ended up making your own lesson because you couldn't find enough when you started doing that search. You were
For the Kemper MIDI.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
made my own tutorial video because there wasn't one out there. So I had to figure it out. And I realized that a lot of other people, and I actually have an email in my inbox right now of somebody asking me questions about it. I've gotten more emails about that video than anything else.
There you go. Yeah, there was some things. I know exactly the kind of thing you're talking about because it seems like it's there. Like it has this feature, say in a list of things.
It's written for someone who already knows how to do it.
Exactly, and then it doesn't give you any information on how to do it. And there was some stuff like that with the Marshall head that I had MIDI switching capabilities, and I can use it through my ES8, which is a Boss control pedal. Yeah. So I could have used it through that. And I thought I'd had it figured out, and I just took a couple stabs at it, and I got lucky. It worked out.
Yeah.
But it's not intuitive at all. Like trying to figure out the
MIDI
the way
can be tough.
Yeah, because the way you designate what you want to switch to is interesting. There's some interesting things about it, and it was not intuitive. But Marshall had no instructions on how to do it. I had to find it on forums.
Yeah, and I kind of get it because MIDI is like they're making an amp. The manual is about the amp, or in my case, the Kemper.
Right.
It's not going to walk you through every possible thing you can do with MIDI.
No, because
which is like me, like writing a book on something and then walking you through every possible word in the English language.
Right. Exactly. Right.
Like you only need to know the book.
Exactly. If you want to learn about MIDI, then you go find a book about MIDI, and then you apply all that knowledge.
It's a language. It does.
Yes.
Infinite things, basically.
Yes.
So, and you can apply, it's telling you, like, here's how you can apply
exactly.
that to this.
It's a switching method, really. And I think they went to it because they used to use the 1/4 inch. I know they used to use 1/4 inch switching for everything. I think they went to MIDI because of the silent portion of it. I think they had less pops and crackles in between switching on stuff. And I might be wrong about that, but I think that's why they overhauled the whole setup. Because it used to be 1/4 inches, and you'd run snakes of 1/4 inches to things, and everything would be just 1/4 inch controlled, Like even foot pedal switches that come with tube amps are 1/4 inch, like that's how they used to do it.
Yeah, the Slash one is.
Yeah, see, and see some of the new ones are MIDI now. The new Marshall heads are MIDI. They probably went with old school because it's for Slash, or that's Slash's, signature.
Well, I don't know when that amp came out. Do you remember?
Well,
let me look it up while you
the Slash one that you have now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm not sure of the date that came out, but I know it's based off of an old Plexi head. So the idea being that they kept it all 1/4 inch and didn't add MIDI. Because probably just elitists would totally get all over him about it,
Well, it's also like, it's a signature amp, so it's what he wanted. And if he doesn't use MIDI, he's not going to ask for MIDI.
Exactly. Well, yeah, and they were not going to put MIDI on it. If he doesn't use MIDI, well, they do that.
It's not like they just make some random thing. It's like,
no. And it's based off an old amp. Like, just remember that. It's not going to
This amp is by far probably one of the more expensive amps I've seen.
Yeah.
And by far the simplest amp I've ever seen. It's one
mainly,
channel. There's one channel with a switch that can change the characteristic of the channel, but it's the same channel.
Yeah, it's what that amp does, though. It's a specialty of that amp, is why it's so expensive. So it's also
he
rare.
launched it in 2011.
There you go.
This is kind of old. And
they definitely have MIDI, though. They had MIDI back then.
For sure. Yeah.
I think as early as like the early 2000s, they've had MIDI.
I think they've had it since like the 80s.
Could be. I'm not sure on when it came in.
I'm not
but
a MIDI expert.
Yeah, me neither.
You can also look up.
But I think it's cool because it gives you more options, I think, and less cabling.
1983.
1983. damn, MIDI's been around for a while. I bet it was like, dude, the biggest thing that you didn't like know about back then, like MIDI, what is that? Like in 1983.
Well, you know how it always is. MIDI, that's garbage.
Oh, in the
It's
beginning,
quarter-inch or die.
yeah, in the beginning, it's older, fucking go home.
Yeah, dude. It's
We only
so
do things
funny.
the old way.
People are so dumb. Like as a whole, like they don't
Yeah.
realize. Like you can just look back in history, like 20 years, and see exactly that they did this thing that you now are doing.
Right.
Like
Right. Change is not
you
always
can see
the
how it
enemy.
happened, but like it's very clear that people don't hate amp modelers. They just hate change. You know what I mean?
Exactly. That's the thing, man. Like you cling to
Whatever
what
the
you
case
know.
is.
You cling to what you know, and most people don't take the time to check out new things. Like you got to be open minded because I mean there could be something that you can like. I like the example that I like to use is Chase Bliss Audio. He makes pedals. And the best pedals because they're all analog, completely analog pedals as far as how they're wired and how the effects are made. But MIDI switching, so you can have memory inside of them, inside of a pedal. So you have like several settings and several switching features inside one pedal. So he took the best of both worlds, and he didn't ruin the analog chain. But he has now you have the ability to switch between analog pedals. And if you look, Dallas, how much those pedals run, they're about $350 to $500 a piece.
Yeah, you're right. 350 to 5.
So
They look cool.
they're
though.
very and they're
Look at
very
This one looks
they're
dope.
very they're like the best sounding ever. Like the Warp Vinyl one there is cool. It gives you like this kind of like I don't know. You can't even get that sound anywhere else. It just sounds like
Where the analog really I think sounds great is delay.
and see, a lot of them are really cool because they're gain stages and you can switch between them. So imagine that it's MIDI controllable. So imagine you're plugged into your pedal board and you want to go to one channel where you have this setting on your amp and this setting on the pedal. You can do it with one push of a
That's
button.
really smart.
You can switch the pedal and the channel in your amp because it's MIDI controlled.
I had a big, huge John Petrucci style rig when I was in the Alice in Chains tribute. I had the EVH 5153. I had the Ground Control Pro MIDI board.
Yeah.
I had pedals in racks
Yeah.
in the back and the drawers,
Yeah,
all
yeah.
that stuff. And I had it set up to where I could hit clean and it would turn on the chorus,
Right.
switch to the clean part of the amp, all that stuff. It took
Yeah.
forever to set it up.
Yeah.
And it almost never worked correctly.
Right.
That's why I just
lot of
I
people did
lost my mind with those kind of rigs because
Yeah.
there's so many places that this thing can fail.
Yeah.
And if any of them go, everything
And then you
goes.
get where something like the Kemper where everything's in the box and you literally
and there's one fail point.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, I'll get a new
out,
cable.
Like speaker out or something. Yeah. But definitely like stuff like that though is pushing the limits on pedals. People are always going to be pedal tweakers and guitar players are always going to try this kind of thing. I think it's an important journey to go through as a guitar player, as an early guitar player, to actually experiment, and realize that man, there's just tons out there. If you go to a guitar store and you look at the counter, usually they're inside the counter and there's just hundreds of pedals out there. And then that guitar, store only has so many of them. Like you go online, reverb.com, you can find every pedal they ever freaking made. And then it gives you a write-up of the history of it too. So there's just so much to explore and like the little things and there's variations of pedals that have gone through the years, I don't know. I don't know how we got off on this, but we were going to talk.
I went through pedal phases. I've gone through pedal phases a few times.
We were talking about the old versus the new. That's right. People who hate new styling and stuff like that. But then you look at
I was going to say
Chase
the
Bliss.
brain is so complicated that you can genuinely think like one sounds better or worse, whether or not it's true. You know what I
right.
mean?
Well, it's subjectivity. I mean, everybody has.
But
if
your
it
own
sounds
brain
right,
can lie to you.
yeah,
Is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, absolutely. I mean, you can totally be in love with something that everybody else hates. Absolutely. And that's not your brain lying to you. It's just.
So, but I'm saying your brain can like trick you because of like preconceived like thoughts.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, you can have an idea in your head, and it'll
And then
it will
like, if
hide
I
the
decide
truth
I don't
from
like
you.
amp modelers, there's no thing the Kemper can do that I'm going to like it.
Exactly.
And that's your brain's fault. That's
Exactly.
not anything with the Kemper.
You know
anything
what?
with the sound.
It's a good thing for that too. And we did this when back when me and you first met. And we were recording my EP at the time. This was my first experience with the Kemper, and you A/B'd it for me. My own amp, we profiled it, and then you A/B'd me my amp versus the Kemper profile, and I couldn't tell the difference. And actually, I chose the Kemper. I got it wrong. I think twice, maybe 2 out of 3
and
times.
that I think is why the Kemper got so popular is because all these people that are amp purists were basically caught in their own,
Right. And
for lack of a better word, lie.
And I'll still say that I think that doing it that way, where you profile your own amp with your own guitar, and save that to your Kemper is better than downloading amps offline, because I think that you never know what they're playing through. Like, at least more consistent, at least, if you know you're gonna get like your guitar sound through that amp. I'm not even sure like how much it plays into how the Kemper profiles. I could be totally wrong. It might have no difference what guitar you play through it. But in my mind, I feel a little more comfortable knowing that to profile that amp, I use my guitar, my microphone, my setup, right? Like however I had it tweaked, the amp tweaked at the time. That to me is the way the Kemper is designed to be used, more for your own personal, not for sharing with the whole world your amps.
Well, it's meant to be like a social thing. Like they have a whole
well, they definitely have that, right? But I just think that the way it works better in my mind, and maybe the Axe FX is better in the other way, where I don't even know. Who knows, man?
I don't know. But the Kemper's really nice. It is like almost like a social network.
Yeah,
like the Kemper Rig Exchange.
Yeah, I love
like the forums, or someone will go on there and be like, "Hey, who's profiled an Appetite guitar?" And 30 people will be like, I got one. Now you have it. It's like for your session right there, download it immediately. Your client's in the studio. That's what they wanted. Now you have it.
Right.
It's so easy to do that kind of thing. And the Kemper profiles themselves are like tiny files. You can send probably thousands of them. In
really
an
easy to
email.
share then.
It's like,
it's crazy
10 bytes.
It's crazy how accurate they are, and they're still small files, because they are
and there's
super
definitely a
detailed.
lot of bad profiles too.
Yeah.
Like if you profile it bad,
wrong,
and it doesn't sound good there,
right?
The Kemper recreates that faithfully.
Exactly.
The profile doesn't sound good. Like
exactly. So there's just people who have better ears for that too. Like, so you which is why they in the community they have like trusted names. Like there are certain people who are like, oh, this person knows how Eddie Van Halen's guitar sounds, so he's doing all these profiles. It's going to be able to, get you the best Eddie Van Halen sound.
It definitely works best if you have a nice studio with an isolation room for the cabinet.
For sure.
Good mics, running through good preamps, doing it right.
Yeah.
Like we did at the Playroom that day. Like that definitely wasn't optimum. It ended up working okay, but it worked okay, but it wasn't optimum. That's not like going to get you the best.
No, we could have done it in a sound booth. It would have been better, or done it in the room while we were outside.
If we walked down to the production room, and use that ISO booth.
Or if we just, I think we could have done it on the hallway. We could have close the door, built up a little space where it was all foamed out, right, just for the cabinet, and then go outside in the hallway. So we're completely basically you just don't want to make any noise while the thing is profiling, because your noise added into that profile will potentially contaminate it or whatever. I don't even know, but I've always been a fan of the Kemper, but I am intrigued now more too about the Axe FX, because everybody's talking about how their new Axe FX 8, I think
3.
8.
Well, then the 8's the floor one.
Oh, okay. So
the Axe FX 3 is the newest release. That's the next big one. So
okay, but everybody's
my question
talking
is,
about
what is Kemper going to do next?
I wonder.
You got to imagine there's like a Kemper 2 coming out.
I wonder. The fact that they just came out with the pedal kind of disheartens me, because maybe that set them back in timing for another
stage, I think.
Yeah,
well, they've probably got that going on too.
I hope so. I hope they had both of them going. It wasn't just like all right, this is our focus. We're going to put one on the
Kemper
floor.
does so good with their updates. Like you just download the update, put it on, you basically have a new Kemper.
And you haven't had problems with the updates, have you?
Nope,
yeah, so that's good. That's one thing I always worry about this digital age. Like when you put all this money into something, and one update could potentially ruin it or change it.
You can revert back though easily.
Right, you can revert. Right.
Like I thought it was sitting right there,
but
it's not. You just put a USB stick right in the front, and then it pops up and says, restore, backup, whatever.
Right. That's good. As long as it doesn't affect
you can actually
tones or
nowadays
anything.
you can go. I feel like as Kempers become more standard, like in bigger venues own them themselves.
Right.
You could fly to New York with just your guitar and a USB drive.
Right.
And then load up your
Kemper
entire
profiles.
Kemper onto their Kemper,
Yep.
and then restore it back to its original state at the end.
Yeah.
And it would take 10 minutes.
Yeah, that'd be really smart. And if the venue had their own,
already have it wired, and you just plug into it.
If their venues had their own key stick though, like we're just like really standard amps, like here's a Marshall, whatever JCM 800, here's a EVH 5150, like they just have those amps preloaded onto their Kempers, or they have a card with that on there, and also the player can bring their own. So it seems like a good way to be fail safe. Basically, you have everything, but obviously then there's people who with Axe FX. So what, they keep an Axe FX too, or what?
Yeah, who knows? It gets complicated, but it's the same thing. Like when you play bigger stages and bigger events, they usually have a backline company. Like one of the biggest shows I ever played was with that Alice in Chains tribute. We opened for Deftones and Drowning Pool and a few others. It was a big, it was not just 3 of us. There was other people, and it was the Texas Tattoo Showdown. I think it's what it was called, in El Paso at like some big arena.
Oh,
and as you're walking onto the stage, the tech is like, Mesa or Marshall.
Right.
And I was like, Mesa, I guess.
Yeah.
Dude, that amp sounded like ass.
Do you remember which Mesa it was?
I I think it was just like, like a dual rec or something.
Okay.
I owned a dual rec for a long time. I never got that amp to sound good, dude.
Sometimes
I
the
don't like them very much.
the dual rectifier tubes need to be replaced quicker than the rest. Like mine has a rectifier mode on it, and I switch it over to that, and it sounds like garbage. And I think my rectifier tubes are roasted basically. And then I switch it back, it's fine. So I think it's
yours sounds pretty good.
well, it just depends, man. Like there's so many settings on them, and I think it needs new tubes.
And the JVM sounds phenomenal.
Yeah. And we just put new KT77s in that thing, and that thing is fucking awesome, dude. It's like a little bit hotter than I guess.
Those are the preamp tubes?
Yeah, they're like warmer and hotter. It's kind of an interesting. No, it was all the tubes. The KT77s are the power tubes, but the preamp tubes are basically the same, but we got them all in a set. So that thing's ripping right now. I recommend tube upgrades.
Do you retube an amp? Do you literally just like unplug one and plug another one in, or is it a lot more complicated than that?
Not much more complicated. All you just got to do is
rebias it. I don't know what that means, but I know you have to do that.
Basically, biasing is just balancing the power going in and out of the tubes to make sure it's all equal. They're
if
putting
you don't
out,
bias it properly, does something like explode?
No, it'll wear your tubes out faster, so you're not running them at the optimal. It will affect your tone. It won't sound as good.
Gotcha.
But when you get it dialed in, that's they're all putting out the same amount of power, that kind of thing. They're all matched anyways, like tested and matched apparently.
A lot
so
of
you're not doing very much
self-biasing too. That
right.
JVM might be self-biasing.
And I think Mesa, if you're supposed to just buy Mesa tubes and not bias them at all, but the Marshall you have to bias. I know. Yeah, I recommend upgrading tubes on all tube amps. I don't know why. I really think it's fun to hear the difference, and also like a brand new tube set sounds amazing. Like just you never get that crunchiness.
So what did you pay for the set of tubes for the Marshall?
Whoa, man, they're expensive. The Marshall were $150, I think,
and that's for 4 preamp, 4 power,
4 power and 4 preamp, right?
So 8 tubes,
5 preamp, maybe.
That's
even
not terrible.
It's not terrible. It's a pretty good.
You get 8 or 9 tubes,
but in contrast, the bass amp that we just blew up, our tube bass amp is Mesa, and the tubes for it are $500 to replace.
Yeah.
So we
get a new amp at that point.
Yeah. So we're saving up to get new tubes for our bass amp to get it fixed, but that's a big expense rate when we're dealing with. We blew it up at the Hattie show, dude. Remember?
Mm-hmm. I was there.
That's still down. It's still sitting there for $500.
That was February.
Yeah, I did find out that it has a safety for the transformer though. They actually built in like a safety circuit, so if it does get overloaded, it doesn't blow up the transformer. It blows up a fuse or something. So chances are the transformer's still good. I'm gonna put new tubes in it, and then see how it does, and be very careful when I do it. But hopefully, it doesn't need a new transformer too, because those are very expensive. Those are about $250 a piece.
How many are there?
2 of them.
Oh, so another 5. So
yeah, if both of them are blown, right? Yeah, that could be a lot of money. So we'll see.
Yeah, if your tube bill is $1,000, throw the entire amp in the trash and go get a $1,000 amp.
Exactly. No, it's frustrating, but we did a dumb thing that night too. So it was like, I feel like
what happened there again? I kind of forget.
Didn't have a speaker load coming off of the tube amp. You have to.
Right.
I always have to have a speaker load. We wanted to go direct in. That's all we were using the head for. We thought, well, we'll be fine. But as soon as you turn the standby off and you have no speaker load, you're damaging your amp.
Had you just put
some plugged it into the speaker,
right, and then turned it all the way down, I don't know how you would do that, but
you could do that. Yeah, you could turn your master all the way down and turn your DI level all the way up.
So they're 2 separate levels.
Yeah, he's got his own DI level. So we just didn't. We were trying to save stage room, is what we were looking for.
What's so disappointing about that is like you could have just run a DI box.
Yeah,
and not had a
could have had him direct in, and that's what we ended up doing after he blew the amp up. So.
I remember Craig got all mad saying he hates going direct. It's like, bro, that's not why you're mad.
Right.
You're mad because the amp blew up.
Right.
And it's embarrassing.
It wasn't even his amp. So
but still, like that's
it was embarrassing. Yeah. So, but I agree that going direct in sometimes is the better move. But we should have just gone with what was practiced. We practiced that way. Everybody was ready to do it that way. We shouldn't have made a last minute decision. I always do try to err towards practicing the way it's going to go down. So that way less is going to go unexpected. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like try and do everything the same as if you were doing the show. Like just doing like rehearsing for this B Sharp gig. I'm trying to play the songs that I'm going to play on that guitar. I'm not just playing them on any guitar. And I did some testing to see which guitar I wanted to play each song on, kind of. But I'm going to write all that down, and it's going to be the way I practice it, and it's going to be the way I play it. I'm not going to mess around with switching. I did practice it every time with the Stratocaster, but I'm going to play with the Les Paul tonight. Yeah. Like that's a dumb thing to do, because you're just setting yourself up for one more unknown. And there's probably going to be some other unknowns that you can't control. Why give yourself...
There definitely are, so you don't want to add to that.
Right, exactly. So I just feel like the consistency is the best way to practice, You got to do it the same way every time. Like, if you're, I go back to drumming too. Like when I play with the drummer, practice with a drummer, if he's practicing an electric kit, but he's going to use a acoustic kit on the at the show, we're like, well, dude, let's just practice with an acoustic kit. I don't want to really have that transition period or anything, you know? So for me, that's the way preferred. Obviously, you can't make anybody do anything, but it's just that's the way it would be preferred for me. Keep the same feel, the same vibe. Get used to running sound that way, running our monitors, whatever, you know? That's another thing. Like if you're running in-ears at a show, run in-ears in practice. Don't run, you know, just play in the room and then the day of the show is the first time you guys ever play in-ears.
That's
a very, very different thing, you know, very contrasting type of performance.
Yep.
Not that it's undoable, not that either one of them is doable. Why give yourself that hurdle? It seems like you're just setting yourself up for failure, you know?
Hey, I just realized this is episode 87 and Appetite came out in 87.
Hey, it's the Appetite episode. Everything's the Appetite episode though. So
tune in next week for episode 88, the GNR Lies episode.
The Appetite episode.
Yeah. So speaking of that, let's dive into my weekend review. Your weekend review was coughing and sleeping.
Dude, it was a lot of sickness getting
That's
over
not bad though.
I did work on some band
I mean,
art.
the sickness is bad, but the sleeping's good.
Yeah, I worked on some band art on my iPad. I try to stay productive, even if I'm like physically down. I try to keep my mind moving and stuff. So I made some little progress, not much, but definitely glad to be feeling better and hopefully get to play some guitar and do some singing for the concept record real soon.
Okay. Can't wait.
Yeah.
So my weekend was pretty crazy. We had we had a gig on Tuesday. Our highest paid gig ever.
Wow.
We had on a Tuesday. We played for a corporate event that treated us really well. The company treated us really well. The people there could not give less of a fuck that we were playing. They were like literal backs to us. Like, to the point, this is really funny, to the point that in Purple Rain, I started singing Fucking Rain and no one noticed.
It's like that movie, is it Wedding Crashers?
Purple Rain, Fucking Rain. I kept doing that.
You know, is it Wedding Crashers where they have
Old school.
Old school
And Step Brothers.
Yes. What's the guy's band name?
I don't remember.
Something. It's like it's an ironic name. It's his name. Fuck, I can't remember.
Singing.
Can you sing everything's fucking
tonight?
Yeah.
I fucking need you
now.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like he always like adds a fucking in there.
I laugh so hard.
and nobody knows. Like some
So
people
then,
catch it.
At the end of, we always close the second set with Purple Rain. So while we're crashing on and the band's just riding on the cymbals, it's like a big epic ending. I always say, thank you so much. We're going to take a quick break and be back in a few minutes. I say it just like that. This is what I said that time. We crashed into it and I go, thank you very much. We're going to go fuck ourselves. And nobody's. I think I said, we're going to go take a quick break and go fuck ourselves. Is what I said. And nobody even batted an eye. They weren't.
So they were not paying attention.
And we were loud as fuck. So like they definitely heard it.
That's crazy.
But it was an awesome corporate gig because
What do you attribute that to?
It's just that's not why they're there, dude. Like they don't care. Like we should have been a jukebox. Like,
right.
Like our radio.
Right.
You know, like that would have been like better.
Yeah.
But we seriously toyed with the fact of like, would they even notice if we just like played the iPod for the fourth set and like we just sat here like drinking beer or whatever?
Yeah. Playing a recording of our last show.
Yeah,
play it.
We could have done that actually. Daryl recorded a pretty good one.
Could have had like some cutouts, cardboard cutouts, put them up behind the microphones and just played last.
And then we just go walk around. They had like all sorts of, everything was free, all like a free open bar.
Could you imagine leaning at the food table like, so how about this band?
Like guitar strapped to me.
Right.
They had free cigars, like tons of them.
Nice.
Free food for everybody. Like, it was really cool. And it was the best corporate. It was the best corporate gig because they said like, yeah, you can cuss, you can do whatever. It's all good. Just be yourselves. Like play your originals.
Oh, nice, nice.
Normally corporate gigs are like, all right, you can't say the word sex. Like they're very clean, like way too clean.
Right.
And
not safe for work.
Like clean to the point that you're like embarrassed for them. Like, dude, like we're all adults. Like,
right. You guys don't say
you don't
poop?
want me to sing Let's Get It On,
right?
Which doesn't say anything bad at all. It's just a fun like wow.
But we don't want to disturb any of the kids. Where are the kids at?
There's no kids, dude. Like you're all adults. You're all like over 40.
Right. Exactly.
This is a repressed bunch of people here. Anyway, this was not that. This was awesome.
This is wide open. You guys got free food.
Yeah, so the main guy there, his name was Jeff Brokaw. And he was super cool. They rented 2 McLarens. They were parked like right there.
Rented them for what?
Just
Pictures?
to fucking look dope, dude. Dude, 2 McLarens rolled in the parking lot and every head turned. That's why they rented them.
Yeah.
But they parked them. They blocked off the entrances with them. So like as you're driving by, you're gonna look over and see 2 McLarens. You're like, what the fuck's going on over there, dude? Like, there's a band playing. There's all this crazy stuff going on, and McLarens are sitting around.
McLarens are
Foz
sitting
and I
around.
kept like like at the end of the night, the McLarens were still there and we were like packed up, ready to roll. So we kept joking, like, can we get someone to move their Corvette?
Let's call it a Corvette.
Corvette's like a $60,000 car.
Yeah.
McLaren's like $350,000.
Yeah. Totally. $250,000, I think. But
Insane.
yeah, you can rent those McLarens for like $1,000 a day in Vegas.
Yeah. So that's probably what they did.
Well, yeah, I'm sure you rent it for the occasion.
They probably didn't even.
They might even know somebody.
It's possible they probably didn't even like. They probably got some sort of deal because they weren't driving them. They just drove them there, parked them.
Listen, you guys can borrow my cars, but don't fucking drive them.
Yeah, they probably got I would guess they spent like $1,000 on both of them.
Yeah, maybe.
One was like, if I remember, it was like yellow, which was really cool, and I don't remember the other one because it was the one that was further away and blocked by a lot of stuff.
Got you. What
So that was
what
Tuesday.
Else? Yeah, well, it was Tuesday. So yeah, obviously that was
And then I
a
moved
weekend
on
review.
Thursday, and then barely had time to do anything. And then we had a gig last night, Saturday. So we're recording this Sunday, and it'll come out tomorrow, Monday. So it's not like it's so.
So if you're listening to this, it's Monday.
Yeah,
or anytime
it's
after
like,
that.
you know, anytime in the future after that.
Right. Because we don't just play them one day.
But anyway, the gig last night was, the only word I can describe it is chaos. Dude, it was nuts. First of all, the LA Maybe, we're the rain gods.
The rain gods.
That's just a fact of life. Every gig we play rains out, or it rains, or it's definitely going to rain.
Right.
Every single gig, dude.
You guys
I
should
swear to
learn a
God,
rain
we've had more
dance.
gigs canceled for rain and moved for rain and rain on us than any other band in history. And we played like 20 gigs. Like,
How's your rain dance? Let me see it.
dude, we need the opposite
It's got
of rain dance.
No, I think you guys probably
So we're
aren't doing
supposed
it
to be
right.
playing this big block party in Rock Hill. 3 different bars are getting together to throw this big block party. I got to take a sip of water.
All right. So while Dallas takes a sip of water, big block party. Here it comes. That's me warming.
Prepare yourself.
Yeah.
So, but it's not just like, you know, one bar or whatever. These 3 bars are ganging up to throw like, quote, the biggest party of the year.
Right. That
So
sounds
we're
fun.
headlining it. So it's
Oh,
super
that's
fun.
awesome. Yeah.
And it's going to be in the parking lot. It's going to be awesome. There's going to be so many people all in this one spot.
Okay.
It fucking pours rain.
Nobody's out there.
Nobody's in the parking lot at all. So they all scatter to each of the 3 bars.
Right.
So now what
Playing
we
to an
think,
empty,
we think we're
wet
not going to
parking
play.
lot. Right.
We think, okay, well, we're just not going to play. We'll find someone and they'll be like, yeah, go home. Here's your money, whatever. Well, the guy goes, oh yeah, just play in here. So we're playing in this bar. Like, it's hard to describe this. So Main Street, Rock Hill, it's off Main Street, I think, or maybe Black Street, which is like the second Main Street. And it's Main Street for sure. And the door off of Main Street is the front door.
Okay.
And it's a long rectangle. So if you walk straight through and go out the back door, you're kind of in the parking lot area, which is where the event was supposed to be.
Right.
They wanted us to set up in the front area facing the back door. So basically we're standing with our backs right up against the front door of the place,
Interesting.
which means people are constantly walking through the middle of us doing our shit.
That sucks.
Like we're literally playing and like people are like,
We've
excuse
talked
me,
about
to like
this.
Goliath. And
Yeah.
like they're just charging through, like going out. And like we had Jimmy and like all sorts of people like, fucking, you're not going through. Like go the other way. Like, we had people walking into the place and then walking through us like,
Yeah,
like,
that is not okay, man.
was
You have
so
people
annoying,
stepping
dude.
on your shit and all that.
we had no space. Like
Yeah.
we had less space than the width of this room right here.
Right.
Like wide.
Wow.
We could go forward a decent amount, but we were like crammed.
Yeah, like that little stage at the Hickory Tavern, that one that has a really small stage.
Kind of
dude.
like that. Yeah, that was
Damn.
the Steelcroft one
Right.
in Lake Wiley.
Right.
Yeah, it was kind of like that. Maybe a little wider than that. 'cause
Okay.
We were, you know,
That's so
wide
crazy
enough.
though
But
that you
there's
guys
5
in
of
front of
us.
a door. You know, that's not.
we
not
played.
a
It
way
wasn't
to-
the variety band. We played an hour. We played all originals, and then we played all Guns N' Roses.
Right. And you said you played new ones, right?
Our costume, we dressed up as Guns N' Roses.
Nice.
So we
Halloween
just
party,
we
right.
just basically tested anything goes. Yeah. So we played the new songs we played that we've never played before. We played Out to Get Me, Rocket Queen, Anything Goes, Night Train. I think that was
Paradise
it.
City, Sweet
But
Child of Mine.
we've always played Paradise
Oh
City.
yeah, you've always played right.
The other gun songs that we played are the ones we've always played. Paradise
Right, so you
City,
just
Sweet
threw
Child
in
of
some
Mine,
stuff to
Jungle, and then we
test
played
out.
Brownstone, and then we played 4 originals. So yeah, that's 12. So that's all of them.
Awesome.
So I'm in my Slash costume, pouring sweat.
Right.
It is so hot.
Right.
And like, you know how heat escapes your head?
Yeah.
Well, the wig is like a stocking cap. So it's holding all the heat in. It's transferring to sweat, which is just dripping down all over.
Right.
It's raining, so my shirt is now soaked
Right.
with rain and sweat. All of us are.
Yeah.
Immediately my glasses fog up. Dude, I am more blind than I've ever been in my
Oh,
life.
man.
I look down and I can't see the guitar that I'm holding. So I'm like trying to look like, what fret am I on, dude? Like I got a solo right here and I have no idea where I am.
Right.
And
That sucks, man. That's a hard
we all kept
situation.
turning around into each other because there's
Right.
no space.
Right.
I'm standing right next to the speaker, so every time I go to my lead channel, it just starts feeding back like a bitch. Dude.
Yeah.
Oh man, it was nuts. But we actually played fine, and nobody could hear anything. We didn't run in ears. We didn't have any wedges. We were just blasting.
Live,
it was a
live
straight
in your
rock
face.
show, dude.
That's cool.
And
That's
the people dug it. We were loud as shit. So
that's awesome. So that was a little bit more of a at least the crowd was into it versus like the.
I hoped it was kind of like
perfect.
seeing GNR back in like '85,
right?
You know, where it was just
in
like
a
a
little
dingy
bar.
club,
right.
Yeah,
That'd been cool.
I mean, we all were dressed like him. So Rasan's wearing his long blonde wig, which is hilarious.
But that is hilarious. That's awesome.
He actually ended up getting like a pretty decent wig. I thought he was going to get like a really cheap one to be even more funny.
Right.
He ended up getting like a pretty good one.
Cool. Hell yeah. I want to see a picture.
Looks like what my hair looks like if it was a little bit longer.
I saw your band pictures for the new band, but I don't think he had a new wig at that time.
He's not wearing a wig in the promo pictures.
Right. Do you have pictures from the show?
From this show? No, I doubt
okay.
it. A bunch of people were filming stuff, but I never know how to track them down.
Right, exactly.
But the Anything Goes, the new ones we took are right here.
Yeah, but he doesn't have his wig then. That's what I was saying.
No.
I didn't see a wig at all in the first pictures. Yeah. That's good, though. I like it. Goliath in the white suit, white jacket.
Yeah, the Paradise City look.
Totally.
So,
Totally. Cool.
sure, we're all wearing sunglasses.
That's the way they did it, I'm pretty sure, for the most part.
That's so funny. I realize it's going to be really fun to play as Slash because I can just look down at my guitar, which is what he does.
Right.
And the hair covers your face.
Right.
And you can just kind of be in your zone without worrying about anything.
Yeah, he doesn't have much stage antics other than like a few spinning around, some stomping on one foot, and the way you put your guitar on your knee. That's it. Like that's really all it is.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's a
That
few
show
times
was
he said
nuts,
some
dude.
stuff like that one video I sent you, dude, where he says when Axl introduced him, he goes, "For a man who did not create this world but will walk through it
As if it is
his
his
own."
And then right after you sent me that, somebody posted the exact same clip on Facebook.
Yeah, that was
but
so
just
funny.
in text form.
That was so funny. But when he walks,
Half man,
first thing
half beast.
Slash says as he walks into the microphone and he goes, "All right, shut up." And they just shut up. Everybody's like screaming.
love
Yeah,
that.
everybody's going nuts for him after Axl just introduced him, and he goes, "Shut up." And he goes, I forget what he says. Something like, I'm trying not to say something too
I'm
vulgar.
going to try to not be offensive so we can still be on TV or something like that.
They were filming the video for that song that night or whatever, and he just didn't want to ruin their chances for being on MTV or
Which,
something.
in retrospect, seems like the opposite of like what they were about.
Yeah,
You know what
but
I mean?
in the beginning,
That's why
I think
thought he was going to be like, I'm not going to say anything offensive, but you guys are a bunch of fucking fuckers, you fucks.
right.
Like,
He
you know?
almost did that. He just said this song's not about sex, drugs, or rock and roll or anything like that.
Yeah.
And
then they played
even though
Night
that's
Train.
exactly what this song is all about. So that's what I guess the whole joke was that he's not going to say anything offensive, but this song is extremely offensive.
That was my favorite part was, all right, shut up.
Yeah,
And, like
all right,
he said
shut
it.
up.
He said it so like sincerely.
Yeah, it felt like he
Like,
really wanted
'cause
everybody just to
he
shut
goes
up.
and he goes, all right, shut up.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, I'm trying to talk.
One of my favorite things is when Bill Burr, in one of his specials, I think he comes out and, everybody's going nuts. And the bigger comedian you are, the longer they go nuts.
Mm-hmm.
So finally he's like, thank you, thank you, thank you. And then he goes, all right, I didn't cure anything.
exactly.
Shut
Wait
up.
till I say something. Exactly. Save it for later.
So funny, dude.
Yep,
Have you
yep.
sing his new special? It's really good.
I think I did. If I didn't watch it all the way, I started watching it because I do that thing all the time. I rarely watch TV, so if I watch it, I watch it in chunks.
Yeah. That's
But,
why I like
Netflix comedians have been on
TV
fire.
series, and I don't really watch movies.
Right.
Because like I'll even watch 6 episodes of a
Right.
TV show,
Right.
which is the length of a movie.
You'll go to a movie theater to watch a movie. That's what I
will,
know about you,
yeah.
and that'll actually take you out of any other way to
I
be
do like that
distracted
a
from
lot,
the movie.
yeah.
You know.
By the way, I bought my tickets for the new Star Wars.
Oh hell yeah!
Oh,
dude.
by the way, speaking of like the busyness of the end of the year, we have the brand new Star Wars video game coming out.
right.
Disney Plus is launching with The Mandalorian and all sorts of shows. And Star Wars Episode 9 coming out. So we have like so many different entertainment
Yeah.
things coming out.
Yeah,
Like,
it's gonna be a big year for that.
I know I'm going to be playing that damn PS4 game all the time.
Hell yeah. I might end up investing in a video game like console because I haven't had one in a while. And Drew brought over his PlayStation 3. He lives with me now, so he's got his PlayStation 3 over there. And I'm like, "Fuck, man, games are so good." And he's like, "Yeah, dude, this is a whole console behind."
Yeah,
He's
PS4
like,
is awesome.
Right? He's like, "Wait till you get PS4 or something, And there's probably a
Well,
new
I
one
think
right
they're
behind
actually
it."
real close to PS5.
That's what
Because I got my PS4.
Is it gonna be PSV? You think, or is it gonna be just a 5?
They've done PlayStation, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4.
They gotta just be 5.
I think it's going to be PS5.
They're not gonna switch to V or anything.
Yeah. Here's what Xbox did. Xbox 360,
Xbox One. Xbox, what's the new one now, right?
2.
No, I don't know, but I think it's crazy too. But who else you can look at is iPhone. It was iPhone.
There's no iPhone 9. Does that not blow your
There's
mind?
a lot of things. There's a lot of things.
It went iPhone 8 to iPhone X.
There's S's. There's X's. There's
But those are
Maxes.
just like series versions. You know
Right,
what I mean?
but when they got to
It is nuts.
same kind of thing with the software when they do stuff they do. Oh, now all of a sudden when the Microsoft X, I was like, what? Or not Microsoft X, but what's it called?
Like Mac?
Yeah,
OS
Mac
X?
OS X. Yeah,
Yeah.
so but it's the
Well, that's just their operating system, but then they all have names. Like for a while,
Right,
the
they have a
first one
name like
was,
an animal.
They were cats for a long time.
Right.
So you had leopard,
right,
which is like really old.
Right.
Snow leopard.
right.
I remember when lion came out.
Right,
That was when I got my first.
That's
Mac.
interesting. I never even put together they're all big cats.
But there might have been more than that too. You know,
now they're
now
kind
they're
of
like naming them after mountains.
Right,
Like you have
right.
El Capitan.
right.
Catalina.
Right. It's interesting though, like how the progression works, because you kind of, as a company, like, and you're going to make changes and you're going to update, like Mojave, that's one of the desert. So
That's the one I think I'm on.
yeah, I think that's what we're on now.
Sierra. High Sierra is what I'm at.
High Sierra. So it's just crazy though, but because as a company, you think you're going to start out and you're going to evolve, you're going to make changes. Like, why don't you start at something you can evolve into? Like,
Okay, here
like
you go.
1, so that way you go to 2 and 3, and then it just goes all haywire.
Here's how far back I was. Okay, so Kodiak, that was, and then Cheetah, which is 10. That was the first one. Puma, Jaguar, Panther, Tiger, and then Leopard is when I started realizing what Macs were in high school.
Right.
Snow Leopard, Lion is when I got my Mac because I remember the Lion was my background.
Mountain Lion,
Mountain
Mavericks.
Lion, and then Mavericks. Now they're off the rail. They're like, we're out of cats. We
Yeah,
lose all the
yeah,
cats.
exactly.
So Mavericks, Yosemite. I remember Mavericks crashed a lot of shit. El Capitan, Sierra, High Sierra, Mojave. I think is actually the one I have, and then Catalina, which I'm still on High Sierra.
We got off subject, but how do we even get here? What were we talking about?
We're just talking about updates.
Updates of what though? We started talking about
Who knows anymore?
I don't fucking know, man. But anyways,
It doesn't even matter.
it doesn't. But that's so
There's
funny.
your Mac history for the day.
There's your Mac history, dude. It's just funny how things evolve and change. But how about you had a funny story you were telling me earlier. You started to tell me, and we were like, let's talk about it later on the podcast about Lowballer on.
Oh yeah. I'm selling. I have a new studio desk that's like an IKEA build, which I really like because it's really like minimalist and it's super cheap and it's really lightweight.
Yeah. This is a good
The
setup.
other one is huge, heavy, and takes forever to put together.
Right.
So anyway, it's the nice. If you Google producer desk, it comes up like immediately.
Yeah, it's
that
one of the
looks all
main
crazy.
ones for sure.
Anyway, it was like $500 when I got it in 2014.
But what were you asking for it? Did you have a?
I didn't ask.
You know,
I just wanted people to make an offer.
And the offers are
I
hilarious.
was expecting people to offer around maybe $200, a little less.
Right.
And this guy goes $75.
Yeah, that's it. And then no precursor or anything like
That's all I
no
said.
$75 and I'll come get it. Just $75.
$75. And I was like, yeah, dude, it's a.
It's like
I was
$500
like, it's
new.
a $500 desk new, and he was like, no, it's not. It's $250. So I googled it and screenshotted it to him.
Yeah.
because it's fucking $500.
Right.
I'll show you right now.
The low balls are so interesting
It's
to me.
so funny, dude. Look at
What do you
this.
think
This
you're
is
going to
so
get away
funny.
with?
He said, no, it's $250 new now. $499 at
Right.
Guitar Center.
Right.
And
There
then
it
he
is.
sent me one that's a screenshot, $376. So still not anywhere
Still
close
not
to what he said.
$250.
And then he said, will you take $175? I was like, yeah, dude. I mean, mainly, I would have given it away for free because I just want it out of my house at
Right.
this point.
But
Like,
the low balling is just so
but like
comical.
75, come on, dude.
Yeah,
Like,
dude, that's
but
comical.
I think he's coming by today to get it at 175, which is fine with me.
That's fine. But yeah, it is funny like to hear people's first initial low balls. You should be somewhere in the range to be like to at least feel
Yeah, selling a new Marshall, $100.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess
a
if
new Marshall.
nobody else ever buys it from me in the next 10 years, I'll sell it to you for $100.
Yeah.
So that's where you are on the rank. But I'm selling an amp online too, and it's funny to watch the low ballers come in, man, because it doesn't necessarily matter how much money I don't think they have or how much money it's worth. Whatever you put it as, they're gonna come in at least $100 under that. Like they like this amp that I'm selling, I had it for $600, and I was like, this is a good amp. Works. I just put new tubes in it. It's a great amp. Small head. I'll be able to ship it easily. 50 watt Mesa. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And I was gonna sell it, not with the cabinet or anything, just the head. So I said $600. That's a little bit high on the price, but we'll let somebody talk me down, right? First thing you get is like $450 or something like that. I'm like, $450? Like come on, man. Like just give me somewhere in the ballpark, whatever.
Yeah.
And then I dropped the price after a couple like ridiculous low balls, like even lower than that. Some came in. I dropped the price down to 500 or no, 525 now. I just figured 525. Somebody wants to offer me 500, they can fucking have the thing.
Yeah.
And fucking nothing, crickets. So where's the guy for 450? You know, now that I took basically $100 off, I'll sell the thing for $500. You know, that's a low end of what it's worth, but I'll do it to get rid of it because I could use the cash. So the it's just funny that now I've lowered the price and it shows that you lowered it. It like crosses it out and like it helps. So I'm like, man, where are you guys now? Like, where are those low ballers? Just come up with another $50. You got it.
That's crazy. I was
That's the way it goes, I guess. I don't know.
I was selling a Behringer headphone amp, the one we used to use to hardwire our in-ears before we went wireless.
Yeah.
And it's $149 new. And I bought it, took it out of the box, put it in the rack, and then used it for like a few months, and then pulled it out of the rack.
Yeah, use it for the rehearsals more than anything.
Basically, never been used.
Right.
And so it's, in pristine condition. So I start getting offers. I listed it for, I think, $90 plus $10 shipping.
Right.
So $100.
Right.
And I got an offer for $80. And I was like, what? And I was like, decline. Like 90's not that much to ask. Just go to 90.
Yeah.
I hit decline. Ping, 81.
I think everybody
Decline.
just wants a
Ping,
deal.
82.
Yeah.
Decline. Ping, 83. Like, dude, just pay the $7. What are you doing?
Right.
Like,
If you're breaking open your piggy bank to buy
You're
this
just being
thing,
a
I don't
douche at that point. Like-
recommend it for you.
yeah.
No, I know what you mean. I think just people want the deal, man. They just want that. They want to be able to say they didn't pay full price because almost like a chump pays full price. Like, no, like I believe in paying for what something's worth.
Right.
If I feel like it's worth that much, then I'll pay that much. If I feel like you're charging me, $100 for a pen, I'm like, okay, well, we got a little issue here. I don't think we're going to come to terms here.
What does this pen do?
Right, exactly. If somebody's
also a
within the
gun?
ballpark of when they list up, something and you're already like, oh, that's a good deal and you're interested in it, why give them the extreme low ball right after that? It's like, I'm already giving you the deal now. Like you're being, it's the give an inch, take a mile thing.
Right.
You give somebody an inch, you're going to see how far away they can go with that inch. You're like, wonder if I could get this thing out, rack it out to a mile.
Yeah.
He's already going to give you an inch.
Yeah.
It's like, it's crazy to think that people do that, but they do. And my prerogative has never been to that. I feel like if I get something, like one time, the craziest thing happened to me. I told a guy that I didn't have enough money to buy his thing, but I really liked it. And I said, this is how much money I have if you'll take it. And it was a low ball, but it was like in the understanding, like I knew this is worth more. Don't take this as an insult. And he took $100 off of that because he thought that I was, being really nice and honest. I told him it's worth this. Here's how much I have. If you need the money or something, I'll buy it from you right now for this. And he took $100 off of that.
Nice.
And gave me $100 back. And I was like, that's the kind of just be honest. Like people like dealing with people who are being honest and not just trying to rip them off,
Yep.
I think there's a lot of that.
I just need this desk out of my house at this point.
Yeah. It's a heavy ass desk.
Well, see, it was sitting in the corner of the garage at the old house.
So it wasn't in the way. Now it's...
I didn't want the movers to move it, but I wasn't clear enough about that.
Right.
I told them we need these boxes moved here, and next to the boxes was this desk.
Yeah.
I should have said leave the desk.
Right.
Dude, those guys were so efficient. That shit was in the thing before I even realized what happened.
You don't have that many things, so a moving company probably looks at your stuff and goes, "Oh, this is a breeze." I bet people
he straight up told me they love me, and he said at the very end, he was like, "Dude, I'll move you every day. Like, this is the best.
This is easy for you."
I apologized to him. I was like, "Man, I'm sorry we're on the third floor." He's like, "Dude, we just moved someone in on the 23rd floor. You're fine."
Oh, damn. That's definitely who calls movers. Like people who have impossible moves, you're just like, "Oh my God, how do we do this?" Like big shit, first of all.
Here's how you do it. Sell everything.
Right.
Buy all
Start
new shit.
over. Totally.
That's one of the things I really like about moving is you get to kind of purify.
Right.
You get to ditch a lot of stuff.
you
Do we
go
want to
through it
move
all.
this or do we want to throw this away or give it away?
Right. You find out what things are worth to you real quick. You're like, do I want to move this? Nah.
Yeah, but with movers, it wasn't like that. So we're sitting here in the new place with basically the exact same stuff.
Yeah, everything just came here. But at least it's all in boxes. Like, it still forces you to look at your stuff and, like, kind of, you can go through a cleanse a little bit.
Yeah.
Get rid of unwanted baggage.
Yeah, I like that stuff.
Dude, we talked a little bit about confidence earlier. Do you want to talk about that some more? Because I feel like we've both hit this point now where playing a live show doesn't feel like it used to feel in the early days as far as, like, when we were less experienced. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that has a lot to do with confidence. And confidence does more than just make you not scared. It also is a, I don't know, it's a selling point, it's like feature or something like that. People see somebody who's confident and they buy into what you're doing all the time. And I feel like I take that as, first of all, I like natural confidence and not artificial confidence where you're told you're awesome. So you think you're awesome, but you're actually not. Like, you know what I mean? I like the confidence because you put the work in, you know your stuff, nothing's going to catch you off guard. Even if something does catch you off guard, you're ready for it. Like, you know
right,
something, you know how to fix things. So you've done this enough times.
Yeah, well, you've seen enough situations.
Right.
Where like, oh, what happens if I hit the wrong chord? Where before you've ever played a gig, you might be lying awake at night thinking about that for weeks.
Exactly.
What if I play the wrong note?
Right.
And once you played a bunch of gigs, you realize like, oh, I'm always going to play the wrong note.
Right.
Like,
It's
who
fine.
gives a shit?
It's fine. There's always going to be some kind of issue, but I can get out of it because I'm confident in my
What
instrument.
do you do after you play the wrong note? Just play the right one after that.
Exactly.
Like, fine.
Exactly. Eddie Van Halen had a funny thing said a while back too. It was a long time, early interview. I have this book actually full of his Guitar World interviews, and they're transcribed.
Who said it?
Eddie Van Halen.
Oh.
He said sometimes when I hit the wrong note, when we come back around to that repeated phrase or whatever, I just hit that wrong note again.
That's an old
and then
jazz joke.
people just know that they just hear the same notes. And they think, oh, that's it.
That's an old jazz
or they
joke.
think he did it on
say,
purpose. You know.
If you hit a wrong note once, it's a mistake. If you hit it twice, it's jazz.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the old joke.
That's great. It's great because if you do it twice, it's like, okay, well, he's doing this on purpose. It's not. You know, it's not a wrong note, one wrong note out of place. He's like he changed what it is. You know,
right.
And everything's subjective. You can play whatever phrase you want, and some people will hear beautiful music. Some people won't hear good music, or whatever. They'll be like, oh, that sounds like crap.
Oh yeah, there's some dissonant shit. Like it's like you can take dissonance to such a level that like, if you like metal, like I can play you shit that you just think is unlistenable.
Right.
Like,
but I think it's just about what kind of mood you're in and what kind of feeling you're trying to emote. You know what I mean? Like you can, like there's weird scales out there for sure, but those scales make you feel something different than what a blues scale makes you feel. Like blues scale may be really relatable for most people. Like when they hear the blues, type music, whatever, all that might be really relatable. But it doesn't mean that blues is the only type of music you can play, the only scale you can play. There's other scales out there that work, There's a lot of things like that.
There was let me see if I can find this. There it is, 433. There was like I think all the boundary pushing artistic dissonance, that kind of stuff is mostly in classical music. You don't really see it in pop because it's kind of the opposite of what that is.
Yep.
Like pop's not really pushing boundaries. Like
right. It's usually
and
the stuff
pop,
that works all mashed together.
People think pop is Justin Timberlake. No, pop is all music that's not classical.
Exactly.
So Cannibal Corpse is pop. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because it's not classical.
Well, popular music in like the Western music sense, right? Right.
Yeah, you have classical and you have pop, and that's how they distribute it or distinguish it on like BMI and ASCAP. Like you have to check, like, is this a classical composition or is it not? Like,
exactly. That's not. It's not genre so much as it is like era or I don't know what you call it.
But like this piece right here, it's called 433 by John Cage. Do you want to take a guess what it is?
433.
That's the name of the piece.
Is it four? Is it four
also,
time? Like
that's
counts?
also its duration.
It's like 4 quarter notes, like 4 count.
No, I'm saying that's how long it is. The name
it's
of
a
it,
song?
The name of it is how long it is.
A song is called 433.
This is probably his most well-known piece.
Okay, I've never heard of it. 1950.
It's 4 minutes and 33 seconds of silence.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is he trying to get Spotify listens?
I've seen by 1950. I watched a performance of it. It's hysterical.
Is it?
A guy goes out, sits down at the piano, like bows, does all the thing you do for a performance, and then sits at the piano with his arms folded for 4 minutes and 33 seconds. I don't know how he didn't laugh.
Right.
And then he gets up, everyone claps, and he bows, he walks away.
No way.
It's amazing. Check out 433 by John Cage.
I've seen some funny things before. Like this guy came out, and he could play the guitar, but I don't know if he was just trying to have that effect, like where he surprises people. He walks out, picks up the guitar, holds it upside down. It's a right-handed guitar, but he holds it left-handed, and he's like starts like tweaking on the tuners or whatever, and he's like listening to it. He's like holding it wrong. He's trying to it just sounds terrible. Like it just sounds like he's never picked up a guitar before. And then he flips it over and he goes, oh, and then he starts playing a song. He just starts the song, and it's a funny little trick he can do. Like, and that's the opposite, I guess, where he goes out, pretends like he knows what he's doing, bows, does the whole thing, sits down.
What's fucked up is this guy's probably one of the best piano players like ever.
So he can play, right? I don't know anything about it. I've never heard of him. That's funny.
With classical music, the composer rarely performs his own work. So
right.
Performing it. But I think John Cage might have been dead actually for a while.
Just the confidence thing, I wanted to just wrap that up because like we kind of got off topic there with like the crazy performances, but the confidence thing like has definitely taken a new level for me as far as like now I don't rush anymore. Like there's a little bit of a thing that used to be like a panic mode. Like I used to get rushy.
I felt that
that's
too.
Gone now.
Years,
That's gone. So that feels good. It becomes a lot less stressful, and even like in like places I've never played before. Like just recently played Amos's, probably the biggest venue I've ever played. I want to say, probably. And it's a place I've always wanted to play, so it was very cool for me, fulfilling. But I didn't feel nervous at the time. I felt like, well, I paid my dues. I got to this point.
Yeah.
I think people who skip a lot of that, exactly. I think if people who skip the pay the dues, they think they're above that. They think they don't have to do all this grind work that takes to like become a musician. You learn like in all the different scenarios that you're put in. You learn all these different little things, and when you get to this point, it's you're in the right spot. Like it was okay. I didn't. Cut in front of somebody to get to this spot. I definitely put my time in. So it's interesting to me, and I'm not saying I'm like a better guitar player than anybody or anything like that, but I at least feel confident in what I do,
Yeah.
I know what I do. I know how to, get a response.
Right as you were saying the like panic mode, it made me think just this morning at church, we had a situation where we have a 5-minute countdown like most services do. Mm-hmm. And there was less than a minute. It was like 51 seconds.
Right.
And one of the TVs goes out right next to me.
Oh,
and
a teleprompter
my
TV
singer
or
was
what
like,
is it?
No, it's this. It's so all the it just has the presentation for the service.
Okay,
so all the
right,
congregation can sing along with the lyrics and stuff. We have one on each side. And my singer goes, "Oh, look at the TV." And I just calmly take my guitar off, go over there, jiggle the plug, realize it's not on, hit power, it turns on. I walk back on stage, guitar back on. We have 20 seconds left, and she was like, "Oh, okay, that's why you're in charge."
And a younger you, would have been like, "Oh shit!"
It would have affected my whole day.
We said, "Oh shit!" exactly at the same time. That's exactly how you react. You go, "Oh shit, that TV's out."
Yeah,
and then
I would have panicked. I would have tripped,
dropped your guitar, like some shit like that. Exactly.
Knocked the TV over.
Exactly. I remember this open mic.
I was literally thinking as I was doing, I was like, "Well, I'm doing this very calmly." I didn't even realize that. It wasn't conscious decision.
Even if you missed the beginning of the first song, is it that big of a deal?
Yeah.
No,
or
it's
even
not.
if you turn it on, the TV doesn't come on. Like you're
right.
I knew that if that didn't work, it just wasn't going to
give
on,
up
so
and
I was
leave it
just going
off.
to get back on. Like one thing
Somebody
that
else's problem
really
at that
helped me
point.
with that getting rid of that kind of panic is being in charge of an entire worship service every single week.
Yeah.
I have to get the musicians, I have to make the presentations, I have to set up the stage, I have to make sure everything goes smoothly. The entire service I'm in charge of. So and I perform a lot on it too. So usually I'm in charge of shit that I can't control while I'm literally standing there playing guitar and singing.
And that's similar to your band too. If you think about it, you do a lot. You do a majority of the delegating in the band. So as far as I think you're a natural leader. That's good. But also losing that panicky thing will help you make better decisions. You know what I mean? And I think everybody should focus on it. If you feel panicky and sweaty when you're on stage, do whatever you can do to get out
sweaty,
of that.
but I'm not panicky.
No, but I mean, panicky, sweaty is a different thing.
Yeah.
When
one thing I realized probably a couple years ago is like, hey, if this goes bad, it goes bad.
Right.
Like
everybody has bad shows. Everybody has bad shows.
I'm probably still going to be alive. Right. Unless something goes real south. Right. I'll walk out of this alive.
Exactly. And it's not like if anybody was like, you guys suck or whatever.
Now, Dimebag Daryl.
Right. Well, that's damn, dude.
Maybe he didn't say that night. I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean,
that was
not
December
missing
8th,
a note.
the night before my birthday.
That's crazy. But that's not missing a note though. That's not missing a note. Obviously that was something completely out of his control.
That's just nuts.
It's totally nuts.
John Lennon, same kind of thing.
Not
on stage, but
so basically, you just do what you can do in your control. There's a lot of things that are out of your control.
Yeah.
The best thing you can do for yourself to deal with these situations that are out of your control, is to be calm and present. That's a huge thing.
Present's a good one. Yeah. I heard, I don't remember who said this, some pro athlete, I think an NFL player at one point said, they pay me to practice. I play the games for free.
Right.
And that's something we as musicians should take to heart. If you need to do your panicking on the front end, if you're going to panic,
right.
Put in the time, practice, do all that stuff. But when it's time for the gig, you got to put all that in your mind and you got to just let it flow.
Exactly.
If you're panicking at the gig, you're going to have a bad gig. Exactly. Or at least you're going to feel bad about it.
Exactly. Or it's going to show. Everybody's going to be able to tell. It's a totally different thing seeing somebody who is confident and has played their parts a million times and they're ready to go no matter what, versus seeing somebody who's like, man, I just barely did enough practice and now it's showtime and I'm still a little not there yet, So that shows because you can't even enjoy it. You're just constantly chasing the mistakes or chasing the whatever the song. That's no good. That's not the way you want to perform.
Yeah.
So which is what I'm going to do right now. Going to practice my ass off for B sharp.
Nice.
And get this shit down. Notes, man. Notes is huge. I might make some because I made some pretty quick cheat sheets. Mm-hmm. I might make a template online and post it or something, like a PDF or something. Just basically song, key, tuning, who's playing lead, and what else did I have on there? I already said key of the song. Maybe put tempo on there, like if the drummer wanted to use it too, like whatever. Who knows? Like
Even if you just put like fast, mid, slow, you know.
right, exactly.
Something to help you.
Exactly, just so you know, and even maybe the first note you play.
How
or
many
whatever.
songs are you guys playing?
28.
28. So
Yeah. What do you guys play
2 hours
normally?
change?
Yeah, it'd be 2.5.
we have
something.
60, but we
Yeah.
usually only play 45 to 50. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, well, it's good to have ones you
It's like
change
3
out.
sets of roughly 50.
And they have
so-
they have songs too that a lot of songs they learned for their last gig that they're not playing this one. This is like really new set, so it's new for everybody, and that's tough. But also, that's part of the gig.
Yeah. Okay, we're about done here. I wanted to give you guys one more note on the topic of like ridiculously atonal crazy music. Look up the composer Ligeti, Ligeti. He's a Hungarian composer.
Ah, nice.
His shit is nuts, dude. He'll write stuff like where like on piano the right hand and the left hand are 2 different time signatures and 2
Oh
different
wow.
keys.
Yeah, see that stuff blows my mind.
And it's just like some of his stuff, like, I don't know. If you like metal, you probably like it.
Yeah, it's some pretty chaotic.
He's
sounding.
one of those like widely regarded like next level, and so next level that like no one knows who he is. You know, like probably died in poverty. I don't know
Yeah.
much about him, but
Yeah.
Just one of those guys. If you want to expand your horizons, start digging into some classical
Say it
music.
for me again. Pronounce it.
His first name's pronounced Georgi, I think.
Okay.
George-
GY.
GY.
O with
and then
umlauts.
Orgy.
Yeah. Exactly.
And then Ligeti, or one of my composition teachers in college said Ligeti.
Ligeti.
So, I don't know. I don't
I
pretend to
definitely
speak
think it's
Hungarian.
Ligeti.
That Hungarian is one of the toughest languages on earth.
Yeah.
So no, I'm not doing that. But Ligeti, Ligeti.
Yeah. It looks. The first song comes up is Requiem. So. I don't know.
I don't know that I'm going to play you a symphony after we.
No, but
hit
I'm
the
just
I think
saying,
I'm
like,
gonna play
that's a
Lux
song you can
Eterna
look
here.
for, like a song you can look for and know you got the right guy. So, yeah.
I think Ligeti was the guy that got ripped off in 2001, A Space Odyssey, from one of his pieces.
Really?
That might have been him. Let me confirm that.
Saw something for 2006 there, but
2091. 200,091. Yeah, so quick little story here.
there it is. 1 hour loop from 2001: A Space
Who was
Odyssey.
the dude that did Space Odyssey? Now I can't think of it.
Kubrick.
Yeah, Stanley Kubrick. He stole the music. He didn't ask to use it.
Hey.
He just decided he was going to use it.
That's
and,
such
and
a-
the song is called Atmospheres. That's the one you need to look up.
Okay.
If you like that movie, you'll.
Okay.
That one's not super. That one's not super like ridiculously complex or anything.
Right, but it is.
There's some other stuff. he has.
popular.
I think the one that popped up a second ago was called Lux Eterna. So you should check that one out too. But anyway, check him out if you like crazy
Is that
stuff.
sheet music for sale right there?
A lot of the
For
stuff.
$60.
A lot of the stuff. Oh, for sure. Yeah, sheet music's expensive to like
crazy.
the official stuff.
Look how big is it? It's just that one song?
This is the piece. Yeah, but the piece could be as long as like 2 hours.
Damn.
So I mean, you're talking like 60 pages. Like
Damn, that's $1 a page.
So, but Ligeti, like a lot of the music you'll see on YouTube will have the score accompanying it, and it's super fun to look at because you can see just right here, like he has so many pioneering things that they had to like invent like how to
symbols
write
for it.
stuff.
Yeah,
for it, 'cause
yeah.
He just did so much crazy shit.
That's interesting.
Anyway, check him out. We're gonna listen to a little bit of this here as we pack up. But any other closing thoughts?
No, I'm excited to give my voice a rest, and then hopefully in a couple days I'm gonna put some work in. That's it. That's all I gotta say. I'm glad to not be sick anymore.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm not sick, but I'm glad I'm not sick.
Well, you might be after this.
Ugh, gross.
What I mean is this make out.
Oh yeah,
That's what we do after every episode.
6 hours of passionate making.
Now you'd
out.
definitely be sick last week if that's what happened, because that's right when I
Wait, were you
contracted
sick last
it.
week?
Last week is when I contracted it.
Wait, I don't remember you being sick when we podcast.
When I woke up on Monday, it's like my throat was on fire. So sometime on Sunday I contracted
After you left
it.
here?
Yeah,
'Cause I wasn't sick.
Must have been. I don't know.
Maybe oh, you know what? I think Nicole was really sick, Ashton's girlfriend.
Oh, great.
But
No, I think it was Drew. Drew was sick in Germany.
get it.
Drew was sick in Germany,
oh, gross.
and I think he brought it back from there. So
Gross.
yeah, so I got a German sickness.
Ugh. Is it the mumps?
It's the worst. No,
I don't
it's
know
not
where
the mumps.
originate. Anyway, we'll see you guys next week.
Later.
Be sure to subscribe, rate, and review wherever you listen to podcasts. Thanks for listening, and see you next week on the Musicians Talk Show.